Where are you taking me here, Google Maps? Let's go exploring. This is kind of cool. I had to take this with a thermal camera, actually. Well, it's kind of funky. I think I hear I don't know what that is, a train or a truck? To me, it looks so futuristic when you see it through the eyes of the thermal camera. Looks like some lovely lake spots and stuff here too. It's really windy. Hopefully the sponge, so to speak, is holding up as well. It's been working really well so far. Interesting stone or whatever that is. Lived here all my life, but there's so many places to see and so forth that I've never actually explored. So you guys are all exploring it with me. You see like those little dots there because there's actually like a line going from one end to the other. Holy cow, everybody showed up with their cameras and professional lighting gear for some reason. I guess I'll just walk around a bit and maybe talk about the stuff I read today while I wait. Maybe potentially trying to get some, I guess, more sunset shots. I think I got some cool ones though. I was actually debating about flying right through that, but there's too many people here right now for me to actually try. Actually, one thing related to drones that was kind of interesting to me today, it wasn't news related per se, like in the media or anything like that. Someone actually contacted me basically saying he built a less than 250 gram drone that he thought worked pretty good. I think it's more for FPV flying, but maybe I'll check it out later on to see what the video and stuff is. He said he was gonna let me see what it's like. So it'd be kind of interesting if you could use that to fly in other places where you can't normally just because of things like the regulations and stuff. Funny enough, I was just flying here and some lady passed by me. She's like, oh, it looks so fantastic. You know where you should go? She's like giving me all these recommendations. And she actually told me like, yeah, I guess you just gotta be careful nowadays where to fly because of all those new restrictions. It's kind of interesting from a non-drone flyer to say that to me. Seems like most of the news I read were all over the place today. This one caught my attention first. It said Weinstein Co. files for bankruptcy protection. So I'm sure pretty much everyone's heard of the news of him essentially, I guess, sexually assaulting, harassing, or whatever you want to call it, women who came out afterwards because they say he was abusing his, I guess, power, like in the entertainment industry. And now because of this, they tried to sell the company to my knowledge, but they couldn't, I guess, just because of all the scandal and stuff. I guess the most interesting thing about this, it says in a statement, the company says it expressly releases any confidentiality provision to the extent that it has prevented anyone who suffered, witnessed any form of misconduct by Weinstein from telling their stories. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if that opens the floodgates to some stuff that we've just never heard of. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, like if there's a lot of crazy stuff, because they do happen, it's just that people can't talk about it. I mean, it's easy to say on the outside, like, yeah, why not? Like, it's a noble thing, but yeah, right. When it's your livelihood and your job, not being able to do anything afterwards, I don't think people would go out and say stuff like that. So this would be kind of interesting. And this one I actually never heard of before. It said it had to deal with a YouTuber making some kind of joke, but I guess people found it super offensive to the point he's actually going to be charged for it, like legally. This isn't just like, oh, I find it offensive. This, again, it's an actual crime. It says Mark Michan or Mikan, 30, recorded his girlfriend's pug Buddha, responded to statements such as gas the Jews and Siekil by raising its paws. But police were alerted and he was arrested for allegedly committing a hate crime. The original clip had been viewed more than 3 million times on YouTube. So I did see the video. Essentially it was when he said those words, the dog would raise its paw up as a way to say, I guess, like, you know, I agree or whatever, and carry out the orders. But because of that, again, like here, people considered it a hate crime and he had to apparently go to court and stuff like that for it. And apparently today, he was found guilty. So essentially his side of the story is this dog, like his girlfriend's dog, was so cute, he was thinking, what could I do to make it less cute or likable? And I guess in his mind was make him say or react to stuff like this. Like everybody hates that, right? But apparently when he put the video up, the court didn't agree. They said it was anti-Semitic. And the judge apparently said additional things saying, in my view, it is reasonable conclusion that the video is grossly offensive. The description of the video as humorous is no magic wand. The court has taken the freedom of expression into consideration, but the right to freedom of expression also comes with responsibility. Is it just me? In my opinion, I saw the whole video, I tried to see it in context. For the most part, it just seemed like some goofball thing that a guy did, and it said he was a, quote, comedian. I can't see it as a, quote, hate crime with the way it was done. I'm trying to think of the context. There's so many comedians that make these kinds of jokes in that way. Like, it's, quote, I guess offensive, but not an offensive in a hate type of way. And it's hard to explain, but that's just my personal view. But it makes me wonder how other people would react to this in general. I mean, I'm kind of curious for people who generally think this is so overblown that the guy deserves jail time and stuff like that for this. And just some random thought I have, because they said with that comes responsibility and all that stuff, like when you have a platform for freedom of expression, I'm inclined to say when you're on that bench, like that judge or whatever, you have a responsibility too to judge things, I guess, impartially, or maybe he is in that area, I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it. It seems a bit too biased to me personally. And the biggest thing I kept reading all day, because it was pretty much everywhere in the news, my social media feeds, and trending on the YouTube videos, it was about this Cambridge Analytica story. Oh, gotta hop over here. And it describes what the company is here in the article. It says, created in 2013, Cambridge Analytica markets itself as a source of consumer research, targeted advertising, and other data-related services to both political and corporate clients. And at the heart of the story here, it says, Facebook says the data was harvested by a British academic, Alexander Kogan, who created an app on the platform that was downloaded by 270,000 people, providing access not only to their own personal data, but also their friends. Facebook said Kogan then violated its policies by passing the data to Cambridge Analytica. Facebook has since suspended both the consulting firm and SCL, a government and military contractor. Facebook said it had been told that the data had been destroyed. So then on YouTube, there was this Channel 4 News where they apparently did this undercover investigation where they were talking to, I guess, people who work for the company. They wanted to find out more, but they pretended they were a, quote, customer. And according to these videos, they were essentially showing how they do, I guess, sleazeball things, if that's what you want to say. Like, for example, once they have the data or if they want to influence people in a certain way, I guess it would be something along the lines of, let's pretend they want to get some kind of politician to do some kind of, I don't know, crazy sexual thing that people will hate. They will basically plant someone there, they'll tape it, then they'll push it on the social media and stuff like that. At least that's the narrative, I guess, with the videos that I saw here. And apparently the other side of the story, from the company's point of view, from seeing that video, they were saying they just mentioned stuff like this because they were trying to get a feel of this, quote, client to see if they would be willing to do stuff that are unethical. So once they find that out, then they won't work with them. So that's their side of the story on why they answered, I guess, the way they did. I mean, you guys can watch the videos, they're pretty long. The other thing that kind of got me thinking during those videos was there was a section where they were talking, I guess, their plans, and even those guys were saying something along the lines of, even with all this data and stuff like that, if you want to, I guess, in a sense, influence people, like for their political stuff, you can't do it just factually, it's emotionally. So that's what they kind of target, which makes me think again, even I said that before, even with things like, for example, when people are afraid of tech and stuff like that, it is an emotional thing. And I think people need to kind of realize that as well. I mean, I know people can talk about facts and stuff every single time, but if other people are manipulating people emotionally, what can you do? And that kind of brings me back to things, I guess, like in that story earlier, like the entertainment industry and all that stuff, like I know art is a really powerful tool. Like even for me, like from my own experience, like talking about things like tech, for example, when people are so afraid of it, it's usually something emotional. When people connect with it, then they start to think and realize, hey, maybe something isn't right. That's kind of why, even for me, I kind of aspire to do things on a bigger scale as well. Better, I guess, quality, different places, because everyone connects with things in a different way. But that just shows you how important it is. Talking about budget and everything like that, and you guys want to see what that temp windscreen thing looks like? Doesn't look very good, but at least it works for the time being. Hey, you gotta do something to budget to be able to do other stuff. Unless for some reason I all of a sudden get these crazy opportunities and stuff like that and all these resources, and that's different. But for now, gotta do it this way. Be frugal, and then I get to enjoy the other stuff, capture them and document them. Alright, see you guys later.